So I'm Myrto, and you'll be, well, you'll be pleased to know or verified, I don't know, it depends, that I'm not a psychotherapist, or a therapist of any kind, for that matter. I might be psycho something, but that's not a therapist. And before Peter passes out and starts sweating profusely, asking himself why on earth did he call me to speak to you today, I can assure you that if you need a metaphoric title for me, then what I would say is I think of myself sometimes as a facilitator of change. So yes, no, I haven't studied psychology or psychotherapy yet. I do admire the people who have. And my talk today is going to be about tasking and how these could be used as living metaphors. And before I go into what is a living metaphor, I would like to share a story with you, true story. And it's about this girl, who we will call Catherine, and she's a musician, and a very, very talented one actually, without even ever having studied music. She composes, and she sings, beautiful voice, she plays the guitar. She's never ever learned the guitar from anyone. She actually, when she composes, she asks other musicians to put it into notes, because she doesn't know how to write. And she developed a fear of flying. So that's a bit of a bummer if you're a musician and you need to go on tour, and especially when you live in Greece and not much is happening in the music scene here, especially if you sing in the alternative in English. And so she really wants to go on tour, and the reason she doesn't go is because she's afraid of going on a plane. And so she heard from somebody that I do this thing called NLP, and I help people with all sorts of things. And she decided to ask for my help. So she came one day and she said, oh, you know, I've heard you do NLP, I've got, you know, I went online and I researched it and I found this and this and that, and I'm pretty sure that you can cure me, you know, help me not be afraid of flying anymore. I said, okay, what makes you so sure? And she said, well, I've tried everything. I've tried acupuncture, reflexology, I don't know why you would, but there you go. Psychoanalysis, anyway, she had this long list of things. And she said, so I'm really willing to try even that. You know, if that's going to do it, then I want to try it. I said, okay. And so as we started speaking, and I said, okay, when did you develop this fear, or how did you develop this fear of flying? It turns out that, so her uncle was a pilot, and he crashed his plane a while back. And this is when she thinks she started having a fear of flying. And the story becomes more complicated, as you all know. People are more complicated than we will ever understand, I think. And she had made an association in her mind, I don't know, through her grandmother for some reason, that she felt that she could control things to the point where she could even cause disasters. So every time she thought something good was happening to her, then something bad would happen immediately, either to her, somebody close to her, or even to somebody not related to her. And I said, okay, so after your uncle's tragic accident, did you board the plane again? And she said, well, actually I did. I had to go to London for a wedding, but I had a panic attack on board. I said, okay, but you did go on the plane. She said, yes, but it's gone worse ever since. And I said, how come? She said, well, you know, after the whole Twin Towers thing, and actually, well, the recent story about the plane gone missing in Malaysia, that did not help her case at all. So after speaking to her, so I said, okay, so you say, what, so how come, so what are you afraid of exactly when you're up there? She said, I'm afraid that because I'm the one who's going to cause the plane to fall, because statistically, how do you know that it's going to be your plane? And she says, because I think because I'm in it, then it's going to, and what I'm afraid of is those seconds and minutes that I know I'm plunging to my death, and there's nothing I can do about it. And so I tried a bit of reframing. I said, okay, so remember the big disaster, the tsunami in Thailand and India, okay, all sorts of lives. I said, so what's going on in your life? Something really good must have been happening. I don't know, were you on ecstasy or something? Because, you know, if you can cause such big disasters, then something good must be happening. She actually really loved that. I mean, she started laughing her heart out. And when the first session ended there, she actually, the next day, well, no, the same day, she calls me and she had booked a plane ticket to New York and the gig. And I said, okay, then that's it then. You're going. End of story. She said, no, I'm actually really, really, really scared of going on that plane. And I said, okay, you think you're afraid, but I bet your fear is gone. And so she calls me up a week later to ask if, I said, so how are you doing? She said, okay. I said, so I heard that you can supply me with some sedatives. I said, what are you talking about? I am not. Any kind of therapist who can prescribe anything, not sedatives for that matter. She said, yeah, I've heard, I saw that there's this thing called still nox, which, you know, pulls you up. I said, well, why would you need that? She said, well, because I'm going to New York and I'm going to need it. So I'm thinking, okay, something's clearly not worked here. So I say, okay, well, do you, I said, okay, so in order for me, actually I can supply you with a sedative. But what are you going to do for me? Because, you know, it's not legal. You know, I'm going to have to probably get into some trouble to get a sedative for you. So you need to do something for me. I said, yeah, anything. I will do anything. I said, okay. So she knew I'm a rock climber. And she had expressed in the past an interest in what rock climbing is. And I said, you know, actually, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going on a trekking expedition with some friends, and because of it, you need to be paired up when you're climbing. And I said, I need somebody to come with me. Will you be willing to come with me? I said, it's perfectly safe. And actually, to prove to you that it's, you know, you're going to be safe, what I need you for to do for me is to research everything there is about the climb. So you need to, so I told her the location. I said, I need you to see what route we will take, because I don't know your abilities. So I need to make sure that you can get to where we want to get. Okay, so it's up to you to research the route that's going to be comfortable for you. It's up to you to research what gear we need to wear and what the weather conditions are going to be like. And say, yeah, I've got all that, because I knew, like, when she was talking to me about the fear of flying, she had gone online, so, you know, the internet is really powerful. You can surf both ways, as you know. And she heard all this stuff about planes and crashes, and so I knew that she had kind of a, I don't know, a passion or a fetish, if you like, of researching things, like exhausting it. So that was her little job, as you would say. So the day comes, and we all start from Athens. We actually went to Barasova, which is a mountain just opposite Patras. You go over a bridge from Madeira. It's a very nice place. And the route would be, we would camp there the night, just on the mountain, at the bottom of the mountain. And then the next day, there were 3 pairs of us. We would choose a route to climb up and then come down. And so I said, Catherine, so are you ready? Do you know which route you're taking? She said yes. And actually, it was a very unusually warm day. So we were quite warm when we started. And so I said, okay, what do I need to pack? She said, you know, it's going to be like 25, 30 degrees, which is really, really warm. So I said, okay, maybe we need a liter and a half of water. It felt like I can carry a lot of weight. And, you know, be quite dressed lightly. So we set up. So it's an easy climb. You still have gear and ropes, not so much to go up, but to make sure you're tied to each other if somebody slips, and more in terms of coming down, and I will explain. Because climbing up, you can see where you're going. Climbing down, it's much safer if you use the systems called abseiling or rappel. I don't know if anybody knows. Yeah? So there are people beforehand, because these are routes that people have done before, So on the mountain there are, depending around every, let's say, 15 or 30 meters, they have special hooks on the rock where you put your rope through and then you can climb down. So we set about. She's really enjoyed it. It's a very nice day. It was about 5 to 6 hours climb up. We stopped at about 2 hours to have a small break, and then 2 hours later to have some lunch. And we finally reached one of the top. And we stayed there. It was about, so when you climb for 6 hours, and it was about 2 hours, let's say 2 hours to come down. So I asked her, I said, okay, when is sunset? So sunset was going to be at 6:30 that afternoon. What she didn't know, and of course I did, was that because we were facing east, the sun would go down at least half an hour to 3/4 of an hour earlier. Okay. So that was the catch. So I said, yes, are you ready? Are we on time? Can we start climbing down? And she said, of course. I said, okay, lead me. The other thing she didn't know is that if you've never done this, you can see the marks how to go up, but there's no way you can see how to come down unless you, on your own, going up, have got some visual signs in your mind. Okay, so it's very easy to get lost. So we started and done, and of course, as I had expected, we couldn't find, because you have to find the special hooks in order to come safely down by putting your rope through. And as I had expected, we got lost. So we got lost. I can see, so I was watching for non-verbals all this time. So she started being anxious, obviously. And I said, well, you know, and of course I wasn't helping at all, right? When I was saying, okay, it was your job. You're supposed to get us up and down safely. Where are we going? She said, oh, I'm sure we can this way and that way. And I said, yeah, find it. Of course, it was getting darker and darker. And to make things even worse, it started raining. And of course, I knew that too. Yes, the weather changes very fast, like that. And you have to be prepared. So obviously, all we had was wearing t-shirts. We were getting progressively soaking wet. And to cut quite a long story short, she was getting very anxious, and at one point she did have a panic attack. She said, I have no idea where we're going down. She was soaking wet. I could even, you know, she was strangling. I was strangling too, obviously. And I just waited. I was doing nothing. What do you want to do? I said, obviously, there's no way we can come down. I mean, we couldn't see anything anymore. There was no headlamp, because she didn't think, excuse me, of packing one. And we were stuck. And I could see that there was a lot of things going on in her mind. And all I did was just sit there and watch. And suddenly, you could see her whole posture, her entire face changed. Like the muscles, the color, everything relaxed. It's because she suddenly, what I interpreted, obviously, she came to terms with the situation. She just stopped fighting. There was nothing she could do about it, but wait, hope and pray that nothing's going to attack her or eat her. Because I forgot to say, this is a woman who thinks everything under the sun could happen to her. And she's the most hypochondriac person I've ever known. Actually, once she phoned a friend of mine asking if they knew a ear, nose, and throat doctor, because she had rice that day, and she was afraid that a piece of rice got stuck in her nostril, and she wouldn't be able to breathe. I kid you not. Anyway, so yes, a lot of things were going on, but she just at one point came to terms with it. And she didn't stop trembling, because she thought, that's it, I'm gonna die. I'm going to do it. And that was the moment I was waiting for, to say, okay, actually, I just remembered that there is a shelter where we can at least be out of the rain. So I took her hand, and it wasn't much of a shelter ride, it was still on the rock, but we weren't being, we were quite sheltered from the rain. And of course, I did have in my backpack some water, because we were dehydrated by that time. And I had something which is called a bead bag, which is a very soft and light material which shelters you from the rain and the wind. And so obviously we spent the night with nothing more to do. Morning comes, well, fortunately enough, the rain has stopped. And we slowly made our way down, because obviously I knew the route. So we found the first relay point. We put our ropes through. I showed her how to do it. She went first. Actually, you rappel like this. The way you rappel is you look at the rock and you push off with your feet. Yeah, and you just hang on to the rope. And we had to do 4 rappels to reach the very bottom. And you can see that she was enjoying it so much. She was almost flying off the rock. And she was one of the happiest people I've ever seen when we reached. The other people asked us, oh, what happened? And all she was talking about was actually what a wonderful experience she had coming down the mountain. And she couldn't remember panic or anything else. So, I would like to start with a quote by, what I'm honored to say, one of my mentors, Dr. John Grinder, who says, all which is not concrete is metaphoric. So basically most of our lives, right? A lot of things happen to us which are just not concrete. And the key for me, especially when you're working with somebody, or even yourself, when you're trying to interpret things that happen to you, is asking the right question. So one of the questions, as you all know, is, what is missing here? Okay. What is the difference that is going to make the difference in that person's life? What is the leverage point? What is missing from that picture? That person is displaying that behavior, whatever it is. Okay. So in that case, it was a fear of not being in control. Okay. So when you ask the right question, then you create a task. So the task is the metaphor. You create conditions for the person to develop either the skill, a competency, the knowledge, or an awareness, which will help them by making the biggest difference in their life at that point. Obviously, the task is metaphorical, okay, and this is why, and the solution is implicit. So in the example I gave, it was a question of, you know what, sometimes we just don't have control. Even though we do everything in our power to have the control, it just doesn't happen in our life. And it's okay to seek control or accept that we don't have control, and perhaps let somebody else. So what is a living metaphor? So a living metaphor is when the metaphor is mapped from the linguistic realm to the behavioral. Okay? So we use the behaviors as the isomorphic mapping of that person's problem. And this is what Grinder calls a living metaphor. So the focus of attention is shifted to an everyday experience that may seem as counterintuitive. Okay, granted, the example I gave is not an everyday experience, but I will give another example in a minute. And this enables the creation of new associations in the person's mind. And just to let you know what happened, that girl's whole life changed actually. She called me up and I asked to see what was going on, and she said, so what's going on with that fear of yours? She said, what do you mean? I don't understand. And she said, I said, are you still going to New York? She said, oh yeah, I've booked 3 gigs And actually, I got a job now in sound design because I want to progress. So the whole thing shifted in her mind. Just to give you one more example. A friend whom I'm sharing an office with, she's an architect. And let's call her Xenia. And that person, bless her, I love her with all my heart. She's a serious person. And she wants to help anybody and everybody. And she's quite big. Dare I say huge. Sorry for not being very politically correct. But she is. And she comes to me one day. I mean, I know she's been struggling with her diet for a long time. And she comes to me one day and I said, so Penny, Xenia, what's going on in your life? And she says, well, you know, everything's fine, but you know, I'm still struggling with that weight. I said, okay, what have you done? I said, I've tried everything. I've tried dieting, all sorts of diets. I've tried exercise. I said, okay, so are you sure it's not a medical problem? First of all, she said, yeah, no medical problem. I've checked everything. Everything's fine. I said, okay, so what are you doing at the moment? I said, well, I'm doing 4 or 5 times a week Pilates and yoga. I mean, that's way more exercise than I've ever done in my life. And I'm on this super diet where I can't remember what exactly was on the diet, but what struck me was that at least once a week, all she did was drink water and tea. So that seemed to me that she was starving herself, but I said, okay, so how's it going? She said, well, for the first 3 or 4 months, I was losing weight. I said, how much? 3 kilos. So, okay, so starving yourself for 3 or 4 kilos, that doesn't really seem, very effective to me, but okay. And what happened next? So well, then I gained another 2 kilos. Okay, so 3 minus 2, 1. So what are you doing now? She said, oh, now I've gone to a schedule where I only drink tea and water twice a week. So there's me doing a quick ecology check. I better help this woman, or she might still drink water and tea, you know, for 7 days a week, and that's not going to be very good. So again, going back to the tasking, and I said, okay, sure, I'm going to help you, of course. But she says, okay, this time, because I had help with something else, I said, I don't want you, because I know you won't accept money from me, she's a friend. I said, I want to do something for you first. And I said, okay, fine, I accept. And I said, okay, I'll come back to you with what you can do for me. So I had to think. And I have a grandmother whom I love very much. And she's a sweet old lady. She's turning 90 years old, and it's her birthday. And I wanted to do her a gift. And because I knew Xenia was an architect, I said, okay. I said, this is what I wanted you to do for me. Actually, I wanted to do it for my grandmother. I wanted to redecorate her house. So full expensive, so it's a very small house, it's only like 30 square meters. I wanted to paint the walls and change the curtains. I said, does that sound fair to you? I said, of course that sounds fair to me, that's actually easy. So obviously, I put my grandmother on board. She's always been excited about NLP. I know she's 90 years old, she's on Facebook, by the way. I'm not, and she is. And I said, okay, if you've always wanted to know how NLP works, I'll show you how living metaphors work. So I thought this lady who's going to come in to decorate her house. So I want you to be a very, 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 very difficult client. So okay. So Xenia goes in, she is my grandmother. First time they talk about colors and what color schemes and whatever they want to do. So by the way, Xenia is very, very busy. They spent 2.5 hours talking about my grandmother's time in Beirut and how the war made her move to Athens and how they had to come to terms with letting go with their past, lives and their house and the fortune they left behind and all sorts and so forth. Anyway, we decided on color scheme, and it was, I think the first one was like mustardy yellow, some kind of horrible color of that sort, obviously. And the thing they do when they paint a house, so they first do like a little bit, so you know that you like it. So obviously my grandma said, oh, my little sweet little Xenia, my eyes aren't very good, there's no way I can understand what the house is going to look like. It's just, like, a bit of wall painted, you just have to do the whole thing. So obviously she does it, not her, but the person she got there did the whole thing. So my grandmother walks in and she started shrieking, having all sorts of like weird comments, and Tanya goes to her, so what's going on? She said, oh my God, I couldn't bear this color, do something, it reminds me of Beirut and the war and everything. So obviously something had to be done fast. So she's like, okay, just I'll think of something, I'll just change the color for you. So Xenia has a thing, and she's like, okay, a reddish color is warm, you know, maybe she would like that. So they, obviously, because the house was now yellow, they had to do the whole thing, okay, it wasn't just looking for a color scheme, so they do the whole thing red. Yeah, exactly. So my grandmother walks in and she's like, oh, I do like it, but it makes the house look so small. How am I going to live in a house so small? This just won't do it. So they have a think again and they sit down. So every time they have to sit down, I have to say this to 2.5 hours, okay? And they decide on light blue, okay? That would make the place look much bigger. To go from reddish brown to light blue, you need to scrap the whole thing, okay? So they go through the whole process of scrapping the walls, repainting the whole thing light blue, and my grandmother was saying, it's like, oh my God, this makes me feel like I'm on the sky and I'm dizzy and having vertigo. Yeah, she was really on board with this thing. So, I wasn't there. This is the feedback I was getting from her. She's like, you know, your friend is really sick, and I'm sensing that she's getting a little tired and a little anxious with me. I said, please carry on, you're doing well. So finally they decide on eggshell or some off-white thing. So they paint the house off-white, and she loves it. Great! So you see sigh of relief from Xenia. Finally we've got the color scheme down. Of course, then we have curtains. Okay, so what kind of curtains would you like? So let's go with green. Yes, green. Let's do green. So they go on a 2-day chase down every little shop in Central Athens to find the perfect green curtains. So they find them, and they put them up. And you would think that's job done. No. So my grandma really liked this metaphor thing, so she's like, no way, this reminds me too much of my dead mother, who used to wear a green robe just like the curtains. Yes, the curtains must come down. So again, a 2-day chase to find another color. I think they settled on brown this time, chocolate brown. Yes, you would think it's nice, it goes nice with action. So they put the curtains up, and you would think she would love it. No, it clashes with the paintings. She's actually a very good painter, my grandma. The whole house is full of paintings. The curtains must come down. So then she has to think, like, oh, actually, I know which curtains I want. I want the ones which I saw that have a lace. And she said, oh, so Xenia's like, fantastic, let's put those up. So she helps her put the curtains up. And the curtains was actually fabulous. But there was one problem with them. They were too short. So they had to come down again. And as soon as for the third time, the curtain's coming down, my grandmother says to me, so that sweet friend of yours, I think I wore her out. She sat on my chair. She slouched. She looked on the floor and said, that's it. I give up. 2 weeks later, she started losing weight. Nothing else changed. So, I would like to leave you with some conclusions. My metaphor of what is a metaphor. A metaphor is like a rose, there is a perfect one for every occasion. Or, a metaphor is a great attention. You don't know where to take it, but you will enjoy the ride. I'm sure I told you. And I hope you all enjoy the ride. Thank you very much for listening.